Omaha Steak Semi-Annual Sale is here. Save 50% site-wide on legendary steaks, gourmet burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and more. Plus, get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at omahasteaks.com. Shop now to save 50% site-wide on steaks and more during Omaha Steak Semi-Annual Sale. Plus, get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code AUDIO. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details.
No matter what business journey you are on, you need these to be successful. What are they? Stay tuned and find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
You serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it up.
What is up? What is up? What is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to your ongoing dose of right tools learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you, well, that is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you want to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. That's why I'm here hitting you with yet another solo success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up game, your business game, your marketing game, your personal development game, your relationship game, because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. And my goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to bring you some value in this podcast. And if you think I am bringing you that value, and I think you are, yeah, I feel you nodding the head. Okay. The way you can show those podcast platforms out there that you are getting some value is by going down there, hitting that subscribe button, dropping a 5-star rating, leaving some kind words in the reviews. Heck, leave suggestions, ask questions. I read every single one of those reviews, and it is those subscribes, ratings, and reviews that tell those podcast platforms out there that you are getting them. So they lift us up a little bit in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like you. So please take a moment and show the love. Help spread the word. I appreciate you. All right, so back in episode 240, and what an amazing episode that was. It was a little longer than most, but man, Diana Steinberg had this amazing story to tell, and I couldn't chop any of it out of there. You know, maybe I should have cut it into 2 episodes because it was like an hour and a half long. But anyway, towards the end of the episode, she shared this amazing gem about growing your toolbox. And, you know, that made me think about what are some of the things that you should have in your toolbox? Every single one of you entrepreneurs or just folks that want to be successful. Maybe you're still in the corporate cubicle. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's, you know, where you want to be, man. More power to you. But what are some of the things, some of the quivers that you need to have in your arsenal, in your toolbox to be successful? Now, I could go on and on about, you know, all the things that are happening out there. You need to learn about email marketing. You need to learn about marketing tactics, and you need to learn about, you know, affiliate marketing and the next new funnel tactic or course tactic or go live tactic. But I wanted to get a little more basic than that. And when I say basic, I mean, if you have a firm foundation in whatever journey you're going on, then all the rest of that stuff gets a little bit easier. I didn't say it gets really easy, but it gets a little bit easier because building off of a firm foundation is a whole lot simpler than building on sand, right? And we've heard the old story about the guy who built on sand. And if I've learned anything over my 50 plus years on this big blue spinning globe, whether that be, you know, running my own side hustles from teenage years on through my corporate career and some of the names you would know and love, to running my own hustle on the side or running the marketing department, a corporation or a catalog company, apparel company. Of all those adventures and all those amazing journeys, I did learn one thing. You need the right tools in your toolbox. And with those basics, like I mentioned, you can create that strong foundation that you can build your life, your relationships, and your business off of. Success occurs when you stay focused on developing these core tools, characters, and skills and traits necessary to be successful, to thrive beyond just the success you're imagining today, to truly thrive out there. So I get it, Tracy. You got me sold. You got me excited. What are they? All right, let me start hitting you with them. And here's the cool thing about these. At the end of this, you're going to go, well, duh, I knew that. But how often do we have to be reminded of some of the basics, right? When it talks about exercising, man, exercise a little, or talks about losing weight, exercise a little more, eat a little less. It's the basics, and it begins to happen. This is going to be the same kind of episode. And I like I said, I want to be sure you guys have the solid foundation. So we're going to start with, this is probably ranked number 1, so I'm going to mention it first. Not going to save the best for last. Belief. Man, how much do you believe in the direction you're taking yourself or your business? Really, answer that question out loud. I really believe it. Yeah, say that. Go ahead. I really believe it. Can you feel that? Yeah, right? You almost sit up a little straighter just saying it like that. Now, try this. Yeah, I believe what I'm doing. Right? You kind of got that I kind of believe I'm going in the right direction. I think I may have just taken a wrong step, but I'm not quite sure yet. You feel? Just thinking about it, right? You kind of feel your body contracting a little bit and withdrawing into yourself. Yeah? Which would you prefer? Well, the former, right? Yeah, I totally believe it. Man, with that kind of power, you can jump over, you can run around, you can dig under, heck, you can burst through any obstacle that gets placed in your way. And that's where the real winners inside and outside of business are proven. Those ones that can do what it takes to break through, right? To jump over, to dig under, to create something unimaginable that no one ever thought of before. You're like, wow, people are going, wow, why didn't I think of that? That all of that is going to come from your belief. The passion necessary to do so is fueled by an unwavering belief in you, in what you're doing, in your team, in the person you're wooing, right? And inside all of your capabilities. Or if you don't have the capabilities now, inside your ability to gain them. Belief, my friend, is key. It is one of the cornerstones of your toolbox. Well, I could say of your foundation, right? So you've got to have that in your toolbox. Okay, you got the belief. I feel it, right? It's coming back through this microphone. Now, the next thing you want to be powerful about, or you want to enhance in your toolbox, the next shiny tool is communication. Yeah. Now, one of the tricks when it comes to communication is learning the what, the who, and the how of the process, right? It's not just running your mouth all the time, right? First and foremost, you're going to need to know and understand and determine the information you actually need to communicate, not want to communicate. Here's the thing, when it comes to stuff you want to communicate, you're probably already communicating that. That's just how it is, because you want to. But what is it you need to say? And maybe what is it on the other side of that? Do you need to hold back just now? Maybe it's not quite ready yet, right? And then the who do you need to convey this information to, this knowledge, this insight, this passion, right? This belief. And then for some of us, like myself, there's probably a chain of command to follow. It's just part of who I am, growing up in a military environment and being in the military myself. And then, of course, in the corporate America, a big chain of command person. I totally believe in the chain of command. So it becomes who is the right person to communicate it to in the right order, right? Maybe you're saying, I need to communicate it to my manager, the manager of my team, so that they can make sure it's disseminated out to the rest of the team. Or do you just want to go ahead and share it with that manager saying, hey, I want to have a meeting and I want to share this with the rest of the team, but I want to make sure you're on board first, right? Chain of command. And that's respecting everyone involved. Okay, so now you're going to share what's the best method, right? There's, how many methods of communication are there out there? You can send an email. You can do a video. You can go live. You can do a podcast, right? How many times have we seen relationships struggle or fall apart because the wrong medium was used for the right message, right? You get what I'm saying? Maybe sending an email about something that's huge and massive and it's going to change the business and the direction it's taking. Maybe an email isn't quite right. Maybe you need to get in front of them via Zoom or pull them into a conference and gather everybody you can together and get in front of them live and share the message and field the questions. So you don't even have to be an entrepreneur to want and need to hone your communication skills. It's something everyone needs. You absolutely must take the development of this skill, right, to the bank. This one has got to be another one of the cornerstones of your foundation. Heck, I spent years going to Toastmaster meetings and everything, learning this skill, honing this skill as much as I could, and I still fumble, bumble, fall, and face plant. The best route to follow when it comes to conveying information, communicating information, for me, is if it's an important message, critical message, deliver it in person. Deliver it personally. And if you can't deliver it face to face, get someone on the phone, right? FaceTime, Zoom, not through email or text, right? Those kind of disconnect the human factor. All right, you with me? All right. And I think what we're going to start finding here, as I mentioned the rest of these, you're going to find they're all very intertwined, because the next thing I want to mention to you is courage. Here's the thing. I think it takes courage to communicate, right? Especially if you have to communicate some less than great news. It's easy to communicate great news, but sometimes there's less than great news you need to share, and there's courage. You got to muster up that courage to do that. See, fear is powerful, and it can stop you dead in your tracks. Fear makes you think you need to turn around when you don't, right? Do not turn around. That's what's going to rob you of everything you're dreaming and going after. You have to find that courage. And here's the cool thing I always say, and I truly believe this. You don't need hours of courage, years of courage. Usually you just need 3 seconds of courage. Think about it. You're afraid to give that speech, right? Whatever you got to say, you got to pull the team together. You have to share a message that you know needs to be shared in a one-on-one, face-to-face, whatever medium face-to-face happens to be. And you're a little scared. You're a little, all right, I'm not quite sure about this, right? You feel the butterflies flying around in your stomach, right? Your heart is racing, right? You stand up, throw your shoulders back. Okay, I know I got to do this. You muster up that courage, that 3 seconds of courage. 1001, 1002, 1003. See? That's it right there. And you start speaking, right? You take that first deep breath, and the words begin to flow. And you'll find as the words begin to flow, you might still be a little shaky, a little fearful, but now you're talking. You've taken that 3 seconds of courage and you took the first step. You started speaking. Now the message begins flowing from you because you understand the importance of it. You have the belief in what it is you're doing, right? You know the importance of communicating that we talked about. So now you muster that 3 seconds of courage and you begin sharing, right? And it takes away the fear of that public speaking. Let me correct that. It doesn't take it away. It lessens it. Look, I've been doing public speaking for as long as I can remember, easily into the 80s. Here we are now at 2021. It's 40 plus years I've been getting in front of audiences and speaking. And I can honestly tell you, when I'm on the side of the stage or before the little red light goes on the camera, depending on the medium I'm sharing messages with, I still get the butterflies. I've just learned to get them to fly information, right? So remember, the best way to control the fear, I'm going to say to beat it, but to get those butterflies to fly information is to gather that 3 seconds of courage and take that next step. All right. So now I want to mention integrity. And this isn't just about keeping your word that you've given. I think having a good, well-grounded sense of your integrity helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. And maybe even not your weaknesses so much as your character flaw, right? We all have these parts of us that can be challenging to manage, that can sometimes get in the way of our success. And it helps if you have that internal integrity so that you can create this honest assessment of who you are and what you're capable of. Tracy, man, I can do anything. Well, yeah, maybe you can, but you need the integrity to draw and keep the right people in your circle of influence, to hire the right people, to find the right prospects and turn them into customers and clients. Because here's the thing. People, no matter where these people are going to interact with you as a customer, as a client, as a friend, as a referral, right? They are drawn to people they respect and whose words match their actions and actions match their words. It's that integrity. They're going to draw people to you and almost, you could say, bind them to you. Now, that doesn't mean sometimes your words and your actions don't perfectly align. I don't want you to get this wrong. What I'm trying to say is this goes into the next one, which is all about flexibility. Flexibility is going to be a very important skill. There will be times when you'll need to bend a little bit. But inside of that, you're going to have to use your integrity to understand your breaking points. There are things in your life, in your business, in your relationship, in your spirituality that are go, no-goes. Right? Once you cross this line, my friend, it's a no-go. That's my snap point. But up to that point, I have some flexibility, right? And you're going to have that integrity internally to understand where your line is drawn, what your boundaries are, what your limits of ability, whatever it may be, so that you can say, yeah, well, within this point right here, I'm good. We go past this point, I can't be as flexible. You can be flexible with your calendar, your availability to people, right? You're like, okay, I leave myself 4 hours of open time within a week to be flexible for those that have last minute meeting needs. Okay? Or maybe you say it's 1 hour, but past that you can't because you have a limit. Is your breaking point because you have other things you need to get done in your business, in your relationships, in your spirituality. You dedicate time to all those other things. In your attitude, you're like, I will accept certain level of things. Past that, I don't have it in me to accept it. So again, you want to go back and define your limits and your boundaries so that you can be clear with integrity to communicate those. You feel how things are all weaving together and say, hey, I can be flexible up to this point. And I think the key here is being able to communicate with integrity your flexibility and your breakpoints so that you never have to get to that break point in any area of your business, your life, your relationships. All right, it's running a little long, but I want to get these last two in for you. I think the next one, and you've heard me mention this one any number of times, is mentorship. Being a mentor and having a mentor, right? Allowing yourself to be taught by someone is creating a wealth of abilities, a wealth of information. These are folks that have traveled the road less traveled the road that you're walking down. You know, they're 10 steps, 100 steps 1 mile, 100 miles in front of you. And here's another cool thing about having a mentor is quite often mentors can identify your blind spots. They can look and see the road you're going down, most likely because they've been down that road. That's the best mentor to have. I'm going to continue to beat that one into your head. But because they're watching from the outside, right? They can see maybe some of those character flaws we mentioned earlier. They can see maybe a pinch point in your integrity, in your communication, or in your belief, or any of the other skills, a tarnished spot on your tool, you might say, so that you can go, oh, I never realized that. And they can explain it to you. And then you can polish that up, hone your tool, strengthen your tool even more. And then the obvious one is that mentors can inform you of the pitfalls that you're potentially going to face, again, because they've traveled the road you're traveling, and they can help you navigate around them in the hopes of completely avoiding them as you approach some obstacle on the horizon or some challenge you're going to be facing as you travel your entrepreneurial journey, your relationship journey, your spiritual journey, whatever it may be. And last but not least, I could say I've saved this one for last as well, right? Willingness. Oh my goodness. I think this one's huge. It comes all the way back to belief, which is the first one. And I think one of the people that really showed me this one 100% would have been my brother from another mother, Robbie. And I can remember way back when, I'm going to go all the way back to when we were teenagers. And he got his girlfriend in the motherly way too early in life. They were still in their teens. And he wanted to be the man and do the right thing. And he married her. And while still in high school, I think he had a year or two left in high school, he began to work and earn a living so that he could create a home for his family that was coming into the world. And right out of high school, he continued to work. And he continued to work to the point where mom did not have to work, so she could stay home and take care of the kids. Not a whole lot of those guys out there. I'm sure there's a lot more than I think there are, but he was just this proven person of integrity and belief and willingness. He was willing to do what it takes, right? And he made sure what it took was ethical. He was willing to work 3 jobs, 14, 15, 16 hours a day for long periods of time. He was a janitor at overnight trucking for the longest time, cleaning toilets, sweeping floors, emptying trash, right? And then he worked his way up into, into higher levels within the organization. I know later on, after I landed my role at the Coca-Cola company, I brought him over there, and he continued with that amazing work ethic and his willingness and his integrity and his belief in himself, and became a great service tech. That they actually moved him out into the Dallas area, where he worked there for years. So the question becomes, are you willing to forego some of the material pleasures while you're building whatever it is you're building a life for your family like Robbie, building a business that will create a life for your family, building a team so that your business can grow, right? Can you ask for that help? Do you have the willingness to go out there and ask someone to mentor you? Do you have the willingness to pay them? Are you willing to listen to that criticism that they're going to give you? Those points of correction. And I'm not talking about them beating you down. I'm talking about them saying, look, here's a flaw I see in what you're doing. Do you have the willingness to take action to fix that flaw, to shine your tools? Are you able to put aside your ego and accept the opportunities and grow and take them on, and the courage, the 3 seconds of courage to grab them and take that next step forward? Will you commit the time to continually expand your knowledge base? Maybe you know everything there is to know about the journey that you've chosen, but you know what? There's new knowledge tomorrow. Will you continue to grow your knowledge base so that you can continue to be the expert that you are today? Growth my friend, requires dedication and continuous education. Are you willing to go that extra mile to be the success before everyone else sees the success? Because I think at the end of the day, if you want to succeed like no one else, you are going to have to bust your buns like no one else. And I think the last thing I want to toss in here, just as a fleeting thought as I just kind of busted into my head, not even on my notes here, is being a mentor. I think as you polish your tools and hone your skill sets, and these are just 7 of them, there's probably many other tools, like I mentioned, that are a little more tactical, and we'll share those in future episodes. But turning around and passing those tools on to those that are behind you, that are where you were yesterday, yesteryear, yesterdecade. Mentor them, teach them, bring them along. Yeah, you've heard me talk about this before. Learn, do, teach. Man, you will not fail in that arena. And even if you do, guess what? You can teach them not to make that mistake that you just made. And your mentor that's teaching you can teach you the next step to take if you don't already know it. Phew, well, all right then. Man, I gotta shake that off. Got all deep and shit on you, all right? Here we are, wrapping up another amazing week here at the Dark Horse HQ. It's Labor Day weekend for all my American-based friends and family. I hope you have an amazing, safe weekend, however you choose to spend it. Get out, do something fun. Maybe you're out there, you're going to be grinding away while everyone else is taking the extra day off. I would still say get some R&R, relax and refresh yourself so you can come back to that grindstone ready to kill it and sharpen your axe, your knife, your tool, shine your tool up even better. Now, I know you want to keep getting all these amazing solo episodes as well as the interview guests episodes. Man, I've been lucky to get some pretty amazing guests on. So please go on down there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Drop us a 5-star rating. Leave us some kind words in the reviews. Heck, go ahead and ask a question. I'll be sure it gets answered on an upcoming episode. Make some commentary. I'm willing to listen to you as the audience. Man, what do you think I'm doing wrong? What could I do better? And I'll start doing it. I'm willing to get that constructive criticism from you, my audience. And again, like I said earlier, it is these subscribes, ratings, and reviews that tell those podcast platforms out there to lift us up a little bit in their rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like you. So please take a moment, spread the word. I appreciate you. Then get out there, run your race. Get your results and let me hear about them. Seriously, email me, Tracy@darkhorseschooling.com. Tell me about the tips that you gleaned, how you put them in action, and what results you got. Heck, who knows? Probably bring you on and let you share your story with the audience. Until next time, think successfully and take action. Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this! Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.